Welcome to Courtside Moms. I'm your host, Wendy Sparks. Today, my guest is Gwendolyn Loyd, mother of Seattle Storm's very own Jewell, aka Gold Mamba Loyd. We have so much to talk about, so let's bring Gwen on the show. So Gwen, thank you so much for coming on Courtside Moms. I'm so blessed to have you as my guest, and we're going to talk about your awesome daughter, Jewell.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So let's start by talking about where Jewell grew up and how did she start playing basketball?
Jewell was born and raised in Lincolnwood, Illinois, and a suburb of Chicago. Okay. And she saw her brother play basketball all the time. She started going to Drake in Rosa Park, which is a park in our neighborhood in Lincolnwood. And she started playing and observing, and then they started letting her play with the guys. And she got so good until they started selecting teams. And so they started selecting her to be on their team, and they were beating her brother's team. And so we knew she had a certain skill at that age. And she was like fourth grade about that time. And her father started working with her with playing basketball at the court all the time. And her brother started working with him, and they were just playing basketball. And then when he went to Valparaiso University, he had a scholarship there. We used to go and watch the games, and she would just closely watch him all the time. Just, that was her mentor at that time.
So she was like studying her brother.
Yes.
And she was like, you know what?
Every move, every step he made, she studied him, and all the way through 4 years of college. And then she started playing. And she started playing.
She was probably thinking, you know what? I'm going to be better than him. So let me watch.
Yeah.
See what he's doing so I can top that.
Yeah.
Can't be mad at her for that, right?
That's
so over the next few years, she played AAU with the top girls in the state, high school ball at Niles West, and then for Team USA. So she accomplished so much and so early. So Can you bring us through those phases of her beginner career?
Yeah, I was so involved with handling two careers. So her father was basically handling the basketball, and I was doing academics. And so trying to manage as a mom, the traveling with the AAU. And fortunately, we had jobs that gave me, I was an educator. And I also worked for the federal government. So I had flexibility of where I could travel, because AAU, sometimes you travel all summer. So I had the whole summer off. So I was able to travel with the AAU team. Nice. And we were also went to France with her USA basketball. So I had a lot of flexibility. Not all parents have that flexibility to be able to take this journey with your child when you're traveling, and some people can't get off. I was able to use vacation time and other perks that I had as an employee at that time, but that's not always the case.
You know what? You're absolutely right. I didn't have that option to travel with my son at all.
Yeah.
And most of the times they were traveling to the US because we're Canadian, right? So a lot of the AAU tournaments that they went to were in the US. And it's not like we couldn't travel, but we just couldn't do it all the time.
And you can't take off all the time.
No. I mean, I wish I had the summers off. Believe you me, I never did. So, but you're blessed that you were able to travel with her for Team USA. So what was that experience like for you? Because come on now, they end up being gold medalists. So
yes, it was so fun. We went, I think the one, I'm trying to think back, because it seemed like it was long ago, but I'm still trying to remember.
Yeah.
We went to France, and they won. I think it was France. France, where they won. It was nice being able to, at that point, that's how I realized it was so nice to stand up and do the American song. And we were happy, to stand up to be proud Americans. And it was nice to be out of the country. And then they won. It was beautiful.
Was it different? Did you observe any difference with the ball there than you had already witnessed in the US?
You know what? I would know.
Me neither.
I would know. I'm not going to sit here and perpetrate. I really would know.
Nope, nothing wrong with not knowing. Listen. So, with the way she was known at that time, it was no surprise that she received a lot of offers for colleges. Notre Dame was the ultimate choice. she later became Player of the Year, which obviously piqued the interest of WNBA.
Yes, yes.
So, how did she prepare for the pros?
Well, in her junior, actually, she'd been receiving letters, so many letters when she first entered ninth grade. We used to have put a bucket outside the door when the mailman came because he was very frustrated that all these letters are coming. So we put a bucket outside, and they were coming from year to year, so many different letters. That's how it first started. And that's when I realized, wow, these people are really interested in her. She must be really good.
Yeah.
And it was just very difficult to try to pin it down from 50, 25 to 10, and finally 5. So we had some really great help from her high school coaches. Her father and her brother, who were some mentors at that time, were very helpful. And then we narrowed it down to 5 universities. And Notre Dame ended up being the top choice. She wanted to be close home as well.
Right.
So that was a very ultimate decision.
And that's good because a lot of players, at one point they're like, I'm ready to play, but I don't want to be away from mom and dad yet. So let me just stick around.
Yeah, she wanted us to be able to attend her games, and that was 2 hours away. So, and we did attend basically every single game.
Oh, that's amazing. I wish I had that option. I didn't. My son's his first team, they were like 6 hours away. And then the second time he was a 6-hour flight away. So he was in Vegas and I was in Montreal, Canada. So I couldn't go to every game. I went to as often as I could. Right. So it's a blessing when you as a parent that you were able to spend this time with your daughter. So through her time, like I was saying with Notre Dame, she was getting recognized by the WNBA as well, which of course leads to draft time. So let's just get to draft. What was that night like for you?
Draft was so special. I felt so important, and I was so impressed and happy with my daughter. The preparation of her brother, who was all involved. He's the one that bought her the beautiful white jumpsuit. He bought it. He researched and purchased it. It fit perfect for her. And then we get there and I saw all these people. I'm like, wow, women basketball. I was more impressed with the fact that people were there to support women basketball the way that it was packed. And I was so impressed. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of people here. But we were so happy for her and the people who were supposed to be there was there. Her father, her brother, and her godfather, Raph, and myself. If that's fine. That's who came, and we were happy with that.
Family over everything, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So your baby girl was the first player in her college history to be drafted number 1. So what was it like at that moment when you heard her name called and then you watched her walk to the stage as the very first pick of the night, hug the commissioner, and proudly hold up her Seattle Storm jersey?
Literally in tears. I was very happy for her because initially it took some time when she and her brother approached us about, well, we want to leave school early and she wants to leave school early. She wants to go to WNBA. She wants to try the WNBA and hopefully she's drafted, blah, blah. So, of course, mom being an educator, I'm like, wait, I want her to finish school. So I didn't see that option. But the night of draft, I was so happy for her. I said, I know she's going to. She promised me, Mom, I'm going to finish my education, but this is what I want to do right now. So I understood that. So I was very happy for her at draft. And my husband and I were just literally in tears to hear her name call. I was happy for her.
Aww. So tell me about your very first WNBA game when you finally witnessed your daughter suit up for the Seattle Storm.
God, it seemed like it was so long ago, 7 years ago. It was so nice. I think I flew to Seattle and it was just wonderful to be out there courtside, sitting on the court seat and seeing her play. I just felt every parent would just feel so proud. Yes. And you just feel, wow, her dream has come true. I'm happy for her. This is what she really wanted to do. So I was really happy for her. Yeah, she took some adjustment her first year, but that's okay. She did the right thing. She decided, wait, let me sit out for a minute and check this thing out and make sure that I'm making the right moves. And at that time she did, and she ended up playing and getting Player of the Year.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. So that's what I was just about to ask you. So as a rookie, she was joining a team with one of the greatest in Sue Bird.
Yes.
What do you think her mindset was like going to the WNBA as she was now playing amongst the best women in the world?
Oh, she was so proud. I get to learn from Sue Bird. I get so much to learn. She's been there for years. She's a nice person, mom. I'm like, well, that's great. I'm glad to know that you're going to be playing some great people and they are nice and everything, but you're also learning. It's going to be a great learning experience to learn from the seasoned players as well. So I was happy for her.
Well, that's right, because she's going from the NCAA to WNBA.
Yeah,
so that transition sometimes. Well, yeah.
She says, these women, whoa, they're huge, they're big, they can play. So that was a shocker, yeah.
Well, listen, she proved them. So at the end, she proved herself, right? At the end of the first season, she accomplished yet another accolade as Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
So with 1 year under her belt and having met the many expectations that were put on her as a new player, do you think that Jewell set the standard for the new players who came the following season?
I think so. I mean, that is pretty much never, I don't think it's been done. I don't want to say it's never. I don't recall anyone that leaving their junior year. I think Candace Parker may have, I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But that was a set of precedent. And so, other players like, well, hey, I'm going to start doing. So a lot of other players looked at the same thing and decided to leave too. I think so. I think it's a set of precedent.
Of course. And she set a precedent for herself too, because at one point she's like, you know what? I still have to get better and better as the years go along too. So it wasn't only about what she's giving to others. It's also about what she's doing for herself.
Right. So she wanted to make sure I got to prove myself that I did this. I got to work hard, and which is what she did. She worked very hard every year. There's no sitting down. It was working off season, working and paying people to work, work with her and doing what you need to do to get better.
Yeah. And to stay there.
And try to stay healthy as well. Yeah.
So there are only 144 jobs in the WNBA, and your daughter is not just one of them. She's a 2-time champ and a 2-time All-Star. So how surreal is it for you as mom to see her doing what she loves?
We are Christians and we are practicing Christians, and we're always praying. And her godmother is her godmother who prays with her and over the phone and talk with her before games sometimes. And we pray together. A lot of time I know that being that we're believers and we practice our Christianity, a lot of that comes from prayer, and she prays too. I'm glad that is what we did with her, instill that in her. So she does too. She does her own praying, and we pray with her, not just pray for her, but pray with her. A lot over the phone.
Love it.
We're a praying family.
I absolutely love that. Do you guys pray together before games and stuff?
Yes, we usually pray before a game. Mostly every game we pray together for the whole teams and no one gets hurt, not just for her, but praying that we don't want anyone to get hurt. So that's our prayer too. Try not to be selfish.
Well, as practicing Christians, selfishness doesn't really exist, right?
Right.
I feel you. Same here. I feel you. So Jewell is no stranger to playing overseas. To date, she has played in Turkey, China, South Korea, and Spain. Has she shared her experiences about living in these countries with you? And if so, what was it like for her to live so far from home, but play the very sport that paved such a wonderful path for her?
I think her first year coming out of college, being very, very young, and then going to the WNBA, and then her first year into Turkey, out of the country, not necessarily traveling out of country, but living in another country.
Yeah.
I think that was a super shocker, being away from home. She was very lonely. There were some tears, but it was very, very difficult trying to get acclimated to the culture, because there's things like, Black hair products. They don't have that in Turkey. You know what I mean? Hair products are the simple things that we take advantage of, because I had an opportunity to go there too. Nice. I did go to Turkey and I did go to South Korea. So I travel with her and I stay, but like I said, I have flexibility. So I was able to travel with her with some of the
Right.
trips. But, having to, um, as simple as you can't put tissue in a toilet. I mean, those type of things,
That's true.
was definitely a culture shock for all of us, for me too. But being away from home for a long time, I knew it would be a little difficult her first year, being away from her family, because we were very family oriented. We were very close. So it's hard. It was hard.
Of course, of course. And my son went to Turkey too.
Yeah.
And for him, it was a culture shock at the beginning. Because like you're saying, there's just the only thing he was okay with was the food.
Yeah, the food was great.
That's what he said. He says the food was fantastic.
And the shopping, it's good.
Yeah.
The Grand Casino.
But for him, everything else, like I said, was a culture shock. So he wasn't used to a lot of things. And it was a very lonely experience.
Very. My heart goes out to the players that have to go overseas because it's different because they miss on holidays. They don't, Christmas and Thanksgivings and, those that celebrate. And we celebrated Thanksgiving and Christmas and having the family there. So it was very difficult, them not being there, especially when she was overseas.
No. And understanding, right? And going overseas by no means is a bad thing. It's just that people need to understand that sometimes the experience has negatives and positives, right?
Yes.
There's lots of positives where she's learning different cultures and doing different things and learning from different people. But it can be a lonely experience if you're doing it by yourself.
Exactly.
So I'm sure she loved having you with her. So did you have a favorite country that you liked when you were from out of the countries that you went with her? Did you have a favorite one? Preferred?
I like South Korea. Very nice. I like the culture of South Korea. People were very friendly, and the people we traveled and did various different things. So I like South Korea a lot.
Nice.
In Turkey, I enjoyed the shopping because they had a lot of things at the Grand Casino where you can shop. That's nothing there. But South Korea, I liked better.
Right.
Yeah, than most of them.
So the women's game has come so far, but there's still a lot of work to be done. The reality is that these women have to work all year round with no off season. When people say she's played 6 seasons, she's really played closer to 12 with all the overseas seasons. So how do you explain that to the casual sports fan?
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Yeah. It is because my concern is that they play so often, like you said, 12 injuries can happen, which she did get an injury one time. She had an injury. The missing out on, like I said, family activities, if you're a family member, and even weddings, death. I mean, a lot of things they miss out on when they're not there. It's just, I think, it just seems to be overwhelming to me to hardly see them and only see them for a summer, season. And then the rest of the time they're overseas. So last year was her first year that she didn't do overseas, which was a blessing. And she took time to try to take classes to finish towards her graduation. And it was wonderful with her being home. And I enjoyed her. I was like, wow, this is the first year she's not overseas. I hope she doesn't ever have to go back. But it was so nice to have her home and just be there and spend quality family time together.
Oh, absolutely. With her experience playing on 2 different platforms, does she have to prepare differently for the WNBA versus overseas?
As a mom, I think so. I would think so, because I think they play very different overseas from what I've observed, as opposed to, I think it's more aggressive overseas than it is here.
Sure.
That's all I know, because I'm not the best in, skill level or whatever. But from what I observe, I think so. I think they're much more aggressive.
No, this is your opinion, from what you've seen.
Yeah, I think they're much more aggressive there than here.
I think so too. So
yes.
When I observed it, I just found it to be 2 different styles of play.
Yes, it is.
And when watching my son play overseas, and then watching him play for the NBA, to me, it's just night and day.
Yeah.
So and he would say that too, that they learn different things. They learn differently. The skill level's different, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're also a little bit, maybe overseas, a little overbearing too with things like suicides and all. They do that in high school. They don't. I mean, you're professional as a WNBA, maybe not have to do that in the, professional as much. And that's just what I see. Who am I? I don't know about the technique. Like, why are they doing all that? But
Gwendolyn, the coach, right?
I'm not a coach or anything, but I thought it was kind of overbearing, And I think a lot of the girls complain and they stop it.
Oh, they may love you as the coach. She said we don't have to do any more suicides. We want Coach Gwen. Yeah. You're gonna start getting buckets of letters now for a new coaching position. So your daughter is a 2-time WNBA champion. The Seattle Storm won the WNBA championship in 2018, the same year that she was also an All-Star. And then they went on to win again last season in 2020 when they played in the Wubble. How accomplished did she feel when she won it the first time?
Oh, she was very happy and excited that some of her goals are being, she has this 5-year goals, yearly goals, daily goals. And that was one of her goals, wanting to win the championship. So I think she was very excited about one of her goals being achieved and was very successful. So she was happy, very excited.
Listen, it's a player's dream to win a champion, right?
Yes, it really is.
And she did it twice. So
Yeah.
So,
beautiful.
Your daughter was blessed.
Yeah, very blessed.
Doing it all over again within the Wubble, where they were faced with so much challenges and limitations due to COVID. That must have been mentally tough. What were those months like for her to win another championship with the same team?
I know. Oh God, I know they sounded very exhausting. The more games it was beginning to be, oh wow, we did this and we got to just like start all over again. Each game was like, that happened. Now let's start all over again. And it can be exhausting.
It is
very exhausting, but and particularly in the bubble where you don't have your clients and your fans cheering you on. I know it had to be very difficult and for them because they were used to having the fans there and everybody screaming and yelling for them. And you not having that, this has to be some emotional thing in there. I mean, you're just playing against each other. So that had to be tough being in the bubble. I mean, that had to be not being able to see anyone. You had certain rules. You had to have your food either delivered to you or you couldn't go anywhere. That might have been a little emotional.
I agree because I guess at one point your focus just needs to be basketball.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there was so much going on for them at that time. And yet they still managed to pull it off.
Yeah, because they were doing their platform of social justice, dealing with, promoting that and dealing with that and the COVID and trying to stay COVID-free. So that was a lot to digest in the bubble.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I said, she did it twice, as well as leading the charge for Breonna Taylor.
Yes. Yes.
Becoming a professional athlete takes a lot of dedication and a different mindset. In your opinion, how does Jewell keep herself level-headed and ready at all times to be impactful on the court and off the court?
On and off the court, you have to focus. Yes. You really have to focus. And I like the fact that she doesn't read during season. She doesn't read the Twitters and social media. Stay away from that. And I like that because that way you don't have to hear what other people have to say. So she tried to stay focused. And then with prayer, like I said, we come from a Christian family. We do a lot of praying. So being focused with prayer and eliminating yourself from social media, it's a plus.
Do you ever go on social media and see what people say about Jewell?
I go on all the time. Yeah. Yes, I do, especially on Twitter. And I don't say, sometimes I just stay out of it. I don't say anything. She'll have a fit. Mom, get out of it. You can't deal with that. Just stick to the grind, So yeah, I do. I do.
Listen, sometimes we got to be keyboard warriors and just say something, just a little smidgen.
Yes. Every once in a while, I'll make a comment, but I try to turn that around to make it positive. So I try to be very careful.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you got to just like get to the point, say what you
Yes.
say. But I
Yes.
learned put a little smiley emoji next to it. It confuses
Right.
people. Like, she mad?
Exactly. And
She
that's
mad?
kind of how you have to do it. But yeah, sure.
Yeah. So Jewell has been mentored by the late great Kobe Bryant, Kyrie Irving, and Phil Handy. We all know how close she was with Kobe and her nickname, the Gold Mamba. It was hard for the world to lose Kobe and Gigi, but I can only imagine what it was like for Jewell.
Well, I think I was on a plane heading back when I heard, I was on an assignment and I was on the plane back when one of my contacts contacted me and I was about to land and say, "Did you hear?" I said, "Hear what?" "That Kobe and his daughter." I said, "No way, I haven't heard that." I said, "Are you serious right now?" Jill was in Spain. Um, and I didn't believe it. I said, "I've not heard anything." So I hung up with him and I called my husband and I said, "Did you hear anything?" He goes, "I'm on the news now. I haven't heard anything." He said, "I'm going on every station, haven't heard anything." So it was devastating. Finally, after I landed, about an hour after I started going, the driver taking me home, my husband said, "You're right. I just heard that." He says, "Oh my God, how are we going to tell Jewell?" I said, "I don't know. We're going to." So talking to people in Spain, she just finished the game, finished her game. They called her in their halftime and told her she thought something had happened to us. And then when she heard it was Kobe, she just broke down. She said, "I just talked to him the other day and he told me, shoot, try to hit it and hit, do this game and do 20-something fun." She had just done, I think, 25 points. And she thought they were calling her in to celebrate. But she said, "Oh my God," she lost it. She lost because they talked all the time. I used to see her talking, hear her talking with them all the time. And
Yeah.
all the time. He was a really good mentor for her.
Yeah.
Great loss.
It is. It's a great loss to all. It really was. And I was looking at different videos and of their relationship, or both of them talking separately.
Yeah.
Him saying, like she's like a little sister, and
Yeah.
her saying he was like a brother to me, and he helped me, and so it's nice to know that his legacy. You know what I mean? Like it resonates with her and how she
Yes.
plays today. So,
Yes,
and that means a lot. That means a lot. So,
exactly.
she's blessed to be called the Gold Mamba and to
He
have
has him still in her heart. That Gold Mamba name he gave her is still
yes,
a stamp
yes.
in her heart today. So she plays a lot for him too.
Yes, yes. I saw a game where she was wearing the gold shoes, and
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, the night, I think was the night they won the championship. I think she had those shoes on. Yeah.
Yep. And she said, "I played for Kobe."
Yeah, she did. She was in tears.
Yes, yes. Let's talk about her movie. She Got Game. Yeah. So how did that opportunity come about? And what was it like for her to transition from the court to a movie set?
And was so natural with it. When I actually saw the snippet and I'm like, wow, you were so natural.
Wow.
I don't know. I just know I'm the last to get everything. She tells her father she and her dad are like this. Not that we're not, but she and her father, they're their buddies. I mean, she tell him everything first. So maybe she told him, all I know that she was in the movie and I finally got a snippet of it and I saw the trailer. And I'm like, wow, too bad this doesn't go far. She was very natural. So I don't know how it all, came to part, but it was a nice little trailer.
Yeah. Do you think that there's another movie in the future?
I would hope so. I would. It'd be nice, but I'd like to tweak it a little bit and add some other realistic parts in there.
Also, you're now a coach and a director. Okay.
Tweak some things to make it a little bit more marketable,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Branding is everything, right?
Branding, that's right.
So Jewell has labeled you as her biggest fan.
Yeah.
She also said at the beginning, you really didn't know anything about the game of basketball. So what made you eventually decide to take an interest in the sport? And what is something that you've learned about the world of the basketball industry along the way?
Well, she's right. She was a tennis player before she became a basketball player. I don't know if you know that. So I used to follow her tennis games. And I knew a little bit more about tennis. And then when she switched to basketball, I just kind of lost interest a little bit. I didn't get to really understand the game. And even though her brother played before, all I knew was, oh, you made a 3-point shot and that's it. They won the game. But I started watching more when she was going to Notre Dame. I became a little bit more familiar with the sport. And then more so when she became pro, I started noticing things and learning and start reading and trying to find out a little bit more about the sport so I could be intelligent about it. Now I know what's going on. I pretty much call plays myself now. She go, wow, you know that? How do you know that? And so I feel good as a female. I need to know the sport. Both kids play. Now my grandkids are playing. I need to know the sport. So I educated myself.
Absolutely.
Because I literally didn't.
But it makes it more interesting, right? When you understand
what's actually going on. Because I understand what's going on. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I had moms that would tell me, and I just laugh and we just think it's so funny. They would be like, I had no idea what was going on. When people stand up, I stand up. They clap, I clap.
I think I was that bad, but I had to learn some things.
Yeah. But it was just funny because they're like, I'm there to support my child, but I had no idea what's supposed to happen in the game, right? And you have other moms that are like, I can get down there and coach, and they bring their own whistles and the person, all kinds of. So you never know, right? But at the end of the day, it's good because the more that we learn, the better support that we can give to our kids, right? That's true. Yeah, it's great to have a lot in common with our kids, but especially with their jobs.
Right, exactly.
It's different when we're just, you know what I mean? When Jewell's your baby and she's always your baby, right? Yeah. But when you get to have a different connection with her job and what she's doing in the future, that's another level too.
And it made her feel better that I learned the sport finally. Yeah. And she doesn't just have to talk to her dad about it. She can now talk to me about it.
So when she calls home now, you both can be on the phone listening to the conversation.
Yeah, we'll do speaker. Let's put her on speaker.
Yeah. So in Seattle, in the Queen Anne community, there's a mural of Jewell, Sue Bird, and Breonna Stewart that is beautifully painted on a Cajun Creole restaurant.
Which is my favorite. That's one of my favorite restaurants. Yes, Toulouse.
Wow, Toulouse. Yeah, Petit Kitchen, I think. Yes.
It's one of my favorites.
Wow. Did you see this mural yet?
No, but I will see it in July. I'm going to go there and I'm definitely going to let them know. How did this happen? This is one of my favorite restaurants and they have their mural there. Wow. I'll be there in July and I'll see it. I'll take a picture by it.
Yeah, absolutely. Take it right under your daughter, right?
Yes. Yes, I've seen pictures. Everybody sent me pictures and everything. I'm like, oh my God, that happens to be one of my favorite restaurants.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I heard about it and I Googled it and I was like, wow, it's just so nice.
Yes.
And I have like the trophies.
I thought it was great they did that.
Yes, the new logo.
Yes. Beautiful job. They did an excellent job. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. They got them to a T.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that as a mom, you took on your life experience and wrote a book about it.
Yes.
Tell us about your book and what solution you hope it provides to the readers.
Yes. I've been trying to write this book for years. And so many people encouraged me to write the book and tell my story. Actually, I'm still working on series 2 because series 2 will focus on the high school and university component of the book. But and then it also focused on the legalities and trying to help parents and what they should do if they discover that their child is a disability. And that's how I ended up with invisible disability, because it is invisible. A lot of people will not be able to detect that, that child have what she had was dyslexia. But being an educator, I knew that there was an issue. I knew. And after getting further testing, it validated what I thought. But if you're not educated, I must say you will probably never pick it up. And that's why we get so many people lost in the system and just drop out of school because people never detected that they had a disability. Yeah. So I just praise God that I was able to pick it, not just my child, but other students. When as an educator, I was able to help as well.
So how does Jewell use her platform to talk about this disability?
She used it, I think, IDI Corporation, IDI Company
Hmm.
out of New York, is the platform for disability. They
Right.
used her for some things, and she also talk about it to students, and she's done Zoom meetings about it. So
Good.
she's not embarrassed about it. Actually, it's been a platform to help her utilize her disability to make
Absolutely.
it an ability,
Yeah.
so she encouraged students, don't let your disability be stumbling for you. In
Yeah.
fact, move towards that and make it successful for you.
Yeah. Well, I encourage people to learn more about it if they're, you know what I mean? Like if you're saying if you see your child has a disability, you need to find out what it is.
Right.
And as a parent, I love the fact that you just wrote about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you discovered it, but you just
Right.
didn't leave it there. You
Yeah.
actually went a step further and you said, you know what? I need other people to be able to read about this and
Yes.
help their child in any way that they can. So if anybody wants to find your book, where can they find it?
It's on Amazon.com.
Okay. And the title?
Amazon, but it's under my maiden name, Gwendolyn Davis Loyd. It's a hyphenated name. So I wanted to keep my name in there too. So it's under Davis
Absolutely.
Loyd, and it's on the Amazon.com. You can get it as a hard copy, or you can get it as a Kindle. What is it? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Kindle.
Either or.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
very reasonable, about $7. So it's,
Abs-
yeah, it's a small
Listen,
portion. Series 2 would be a little bit more uh, different.
to me, there's no price on helping your children.
Yes.
You know
But
what I mean?
I've got rave reviews from people who are on my Facebook or on Instagram. They'll show the picture with the book and say, "Oh my God, you really helped me. As a parent, I didn't know this information.
Nice.
You really enlightened me to try to do something about my child." So I think that's really nice that it's helping people.
Yeah, like I said, it's bringing a solution to some families who don't understand how to
Yes.
deal with dyslexia. So,
Yes.
and the name of your book?
Invisible Disability
Perfect.
by Gwendolyn Davis Loyd.
Well, thank you for sharing that information
Sure.
with us. And tell me, what is it like being the courtside mom to Jewell Loyd?
In first, she used to be somewhat embarrassed, like, "Oh my God, mom, come on." So now, because I'm a biggest cheerleader and I'm cheering for everybody and everything, and I had my signs. And initially, before the contract, my sisters and I started these grassroots big poster signs saying, "Hey,
Uh-huh.
support the WNBA, become a ticket season holder, make sure you're supporting us." And that grassroots really filtered to all the areas. And I saw other parents doing the same thing, saying, "Pay the players, let's get them." So you never know how much that may have helped. We don't know, but it started a grassroots
Sure.
campaign, um, encouraging people to become ticket season holders and to fight for a contract for the players. And I love being on courtside supporting my daughter because who's not going to toot your horn? If you don't toot your own horn, no one is.
Thank you.
So, and then the fans are so great. They all know me. They're help Mama Lloyd. They call me Mama Lloyd,
Yeah.
and they're so nice. People just been great. It's been fun.
It's beautiful when people can appreciate the parent as well. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
that's
You're
true.
sitting there, you're watching the game, and they're like,
Yeah,
"Wow, this is
yeah.
Jewell's mom."
Yeah, it's so
That's
funny
nice.
because we were in Vegas when she first got the first All-Star. We were after All-Star game. We were in Vegas. She goes, "Mom, come walk with me." We were walking, and this big, huge crowd of people started running. I said, "Oh my God, you better get ready to come to ask for autographs." They ran and they stopped. They said, "Mama, Lloyd, can we have your autograph?" And we both started laughing. She goes, "Oh my God, they're here for you, not me."
That's funny.
We laugh. We still laugh about that one.
Of course, of course. Yeah, I was watching something and she said, "My mom's gone viral." Like, oh my God. So
Yeah, during the
that's
bubble, my
beautiful.
sister and I was doing the dancing and singing every game. Before each game, we did our video, but we were promoting. We're like, well, we can't be in the bubble, so this is our way of being on video, singing our songs. We went old school. We did old school tunes and we put our own lyrics in it. We had so much fun with that.
Well, you know what? the WNBA is such a great platform to have fun.
Yes.
Now we can go there and watch games,
Yes.
and now we can go there and see you. Sit there and see you. So before we wrap up,
Yes.
let's do some fun facts.
Okay.
What is that go-to dish that you make that Jewell absolutely loves?
Shrimp jambalaya.
Okay.
Yeah, she loves that.
I'll have to try shrimp. So I tried shrimp the other day for the first time in my life.
Oh, wow.
People think I'm crazy. I've never done it. But
Wow.
anyway.
I do shrimp and sausage.
Try.
Shrimp and sausage jambalaya. That's what I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Gwen. I won't forget that. Other than a basketball, what was one item as a child she couldn't live without?
That she could not live without. What item? Oh my goodness.
Something she always had.
Oh, wow. Let me think. All I can remember is a basketball and her tennis racket. I'll say the tennis racket.
There you go. Tennis racket. There you go. It's good to know that she's very athletic, right?
Yes.
Did you have a childhood nickname for her? And if so, what was it?
Well, I always used to call her middle name, Blessing. That was that is her legal middle name is Blessing.
I love that.
Yeah, sometimes we'll say that jokingly with her. That's all.
I love it.
Yeah, her middle name really is Blessing.
Jewell Blessing Loyd.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So now I want to ask some tips and advice for our listeners, okay? What tip would you give a mom on how to deal with a coaching decision that she does not agree with?
Oh, wow. The coaching decision she doesn't agree with. It's best for mom to kind of just relax. Don't be overbearing. Maybe talk about it after the game and keep it in the family. It's best. It's best. The less people know how you feel about things, the better it is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I would never yell out, you didn't do that right. Let her play. Although, you feel all that kind of stuff. Where you gonna put her in? But you just gotta be calm.
I can see you, that mom holding up your sign.
Yes. Right.
At the coach.
So just stand back, lay back, and talk those things behind closed doors.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say, if you get mad, just tweet about it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What advice would you give a player about how to deal with a tough teammate?
How to deal with a tough teammate. Well, first of all, I'm very direct, and I would possibly say, have a conversation with that person and see what comes up. And if that's not handled, then pray about it.
100%. Last question. If you could give one piece of advice to another courtside mom, what would that be?
Just be supportive and not overbearing.
Yes. Yes. Love it. Gwen, it was so much fun having you on the show with us today and learning so much about yourself.
Thanks for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
Of course. And of course, learning so much about your daughter, Jewell. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we look forward to having you with us again soon.
Sure, looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Courtside Moms and make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Done, baby. I do it naturally.